The Dodgers front office just made a series of bold moves that could shake up the rest of the season, and the ripple effects are already being felt across the league. A new arm has officially joined the roster, another key reliever is unexpectedly sidelined, and behind the scenes, serious trade talks are unfolding with rising talent right at the center. These aren't just routine updates, these are strategic decisions that reveal exactly how the organization is planning to attack the trade deadline. If you want the full picture of what's really going on behind closed doors and how these choices could either make or break the team's playoff run, you won't want to miss a second of this. The Los Angeles Dodgers are facing one of their most complicated seasons in recent memory, a campaign filled with high expectations, yet riddled with twists they didn't quite see coming. From marquee off-season acquisitions to a now crowded injured list, this 2025 season has demanded constant recalibration. And as we move deeper into the heart of the schedule, each roster move, each pitching decision, and every front office conversation holds enormous weight. Let's start with the latest developments, because they're telling a very specific story about how the Dodgers are trying to weather this storm. This week, the Dodgers made an interesting move by signing a right-handed pitcher who might not be a household name but does come with an intriguing backstory. Originally drafted by the Dodgers back in 2015, this pitcher didn't sign at the time and instead made his professional mark elsewhere. Most recently, he spent time with the Detroit Tigers before circling back to Los Angeles in what seems to be a full circle moment. The move underscores just how creative the Dodgers are getting in order to plug the holes that continue to emerge in their injury-depleted pitching staff. And it's not hard to understand why pitching depth is such a priority right now. The Dodgers have been absolutely hammered by injuries, especially on the mound. The latest name to hit the injured list is right-handed reliever Luis Garque, who's been placed on the IL with a right adductor strain. That move, retroactive to May 29, makes him the 15th pitcher the Dodgers have placed on the injured list this season. 15th. That number speaks volumes. It's not just bad luck at this point, it's a systemic challenge that the front office and coaching staff have had to manage week after week. Garque, who was brought in to add some stability to the bullpen, had been showing signs of being a key contributor in high-leverage situations. While he wasn't expected to be a closer or even the primary setup man, his veteran experience and ability to throw strikes made him a solid middle relief option, particularly in the later innings when games are still within reach. Losing him, especially now, disrupts that fragile bullpen chemistry even more. The sheer volume of injuries has forced the Dodgers to not only rely on young arms, but also to dig deep into their organizational reserves. Names that fans might not have expected to see this season have been called up and thrown into critical situations. Some have risen to the occasion, others are still adjusting, but the reality is that there's only so much you can ask from your depth pieces before things begin to fray. Now, while the pitching situation remains the most glaring issue, the front office is being pulled in several different directions as the trade deadline looms closer. There's a constant balance between short-term fixes and long-term planning, and nowhere is that more evident than in the conversation surrounding Dalton Rushing. Rushing is a name that's popped up in a lot of trade speculation recently, especially as the Dodgers look for ways to address their current deficiencies without mortgaging the future. The rookie catcher has made a solid impression in limited action. Through 23 plate appearances, he's batting .273 with a home run and 7 RBIs. Those aren't earth-shattering numbers, but they're more than enough to show why other teams might be interested. He's patient at the plate, shows good pitch recognition, and already appears comfortable working with a variety of pitchers, traits you love to see in a young backstop. According to MLB insider Ken Rosenthal, however, the Dodgers are very unlikely to deal Rushing at this year's trade deadline. And that's a significant revelation. It tells us that the organization sees Rushing as more than just a short-term backup or a convenient trade chip. With Will Smith still holding down the starting role and likely to remain the main guy for the foreseeable future, Rushing's development behind him indicates that the Dodgers are thinking long-term. Maybe even grooming him as the heir apparent, or at least preparing for a two-catcher system that gives them depth and versatility behind the plate. This kind of decision-making reflects a broader theme this season. Yes, the Dodgers are trying to win now, but they're also refusing to panic. They're not going to make reckless trades or give up future stars just to patch temporary holes. And that's not an easy stance to maintain when you're expected to contend every year. The pressure is enormous, both from the fanbase and from within. Let's also talk about the psychological impact these injuries and adjustments have had on the clubhouse. Injuries aren't just about who's missing from the lineup or the rotation, they change everything. Routines are disrupted, roles are shifted, and young players are suddenly thrust into situations they might not be ready for. When veterans like Garca go down, younger arms are expected to step up in meaningful innings, and that can be both a blessing and a burden. And yet, for all the setbacks, the Dodgers are still very much in the mix in the National League. That's a testament to the core talent on this team, as well as to the adaptability of the coaching staff. The front office, led by Andrew Friedman, has built a roster with layers that are now being tested every single week. The signing of the former Tigers pitcher is a perfect example of how those layers come into play. Even though he's not a big-name acquisition, bringing in someone familiar with the organization's culture, someone who's shown he can compete at the major league level, is a low-risk move with potential upside. These are the kinds of moves that might not generate headlines, but they add up over a long season. Let's not forget, this is also a Dodgers team that made huge headlines in the offseason by going all in on stars like Shohei Ohtani and Tyler Glasnow. The expectation was that this would be the year they put it all together, a loaded roster, a blend of experience and youth, and a coaching staff that knows how to win. But baseball, as we all know, has a way of humbling even the most stacked rosters. Injuries have tested the depth, and the results haven't always been pretty. And while fans can get understandably frustrated, there's still plenty to be optimistic about. For starters, the offense has remained relatively healthy and productive. Mookie Betts, Freddie Freeman, and Ohtani have all continued to perform at a high level. There have been occasional slumps and dry spells, sure, but overall, this is still one of the more dangerous lineups in the National League. So, whether you're watching from Dodger Stadium or tuning in from across the country, this is a team worth keeping a close eye on. The moves being made now, however small they may seem, are setting the stage for what could be a thrilling second half of the season. If you enjoyed this breakdown and want to stay locked in with every twist and turn of the Dodgers' 2025 journey, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, drop your thoughts in the comments below, and share this video with your fellow fans. Your support helps us bring you deeper analysis and real-time reactions to everything happening across the league. Let's keep the conversation going.